Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian report for the 31st of March, and starting with the ASX on the daily chart here. From the low here, we've been looking for wave A to the upside, which we have in 5 waves. So then we were looking for a 61.8% retracement level, which we have. And now we're looking at wave C here. So wave C should be in 5 waves to the upside. And sometimes there's a correlation between wave A and wave C in terms of distance. So we'll keep a little bit of an eye on that because it makes it fall short of our target area here on the lower side of that. So we'll be mindful of that, but it's more important to track the actual 5 wave structure coming up into that space. So let's just start pulling that apart now. So we're looking for the A wave here, the B wave here, and we're looking for 5 waves moving up through here. And the top of this first wave here should come in on the top of the A wave here and then pull back. So let's go in and have a look at that. So in this case here, if I take the low here and I'm going for the top of the A wave here, so you can adjust that. But I can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still got a little higher to go here. And of course, the cash market will open higher and stocks will help drag this up there. So we can expect stocks really to be careful because they could open higher and then trade lower. Now, in this instance here, if we were looking for 5 waves to the upside here on that top there, then we can look at the 5,000 area through here as the 61.8% mark. Now it may not come back that far, okay, so we need a tactic to accommodate that particular strategy. So we're looking for, well, just a little push up through here, and then we're looking for an ABC pattern here, and then we're moving up. Technically we can go long at that point there. You could also go long here, but I do want to show just another count as well that I can't totally rule out just yet until we get this ABC here and that's breached here, because that will confirm that this is corrective. Would still be in a situation where, if I can just come back to this 2-hour chart for an example, I've still got this count here, which I just can't throw in the bin just yet, which is all the way down for 1 here, 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's problems with that, as I mentioned before. Wave 4 overlaps wave 1 and a few other little things. But it's possible that we've got an A wave here, B wave here, and a C wave here finishing at this high here, and then collapsing down into wave 5 here. So we need to be a little bit mindful of that. So when this 5 wave structure here finishes, as I mentioned, we'll be getting an A and a B and a C wave coming back into this area here, and then a move up from that point. And then going long here would confirm that this is corrective and we're on the right track, and then we can look up for 3, 4, and 5 up here further. So we do need to get past this little area here. I don't think this is the case, but I just can't rule it out. I can rule it out once that gets triggered here at that point there. There's also too, if I can just go back to the 4-hour chart here, and we're looking for this wave 1 up here. So we can also use the levels in here now too. So we'll go to the hourly chart and start working that a bit. So in this instance here, we've got 5,000, which is a major level, and then we've got, well, 1, 2, and 3 here in hundreds, and this is the top of group 1 here. So if we get nice tested support on top of that, then we can also go long from there as well. Because sometimes when a market's climbing higher through group 1 here, it won't pull all the way back down to 5,000. It will just pull back to, most of the time it will pull back just to 2 here. Number 2 here, the 200, and sometimes it just spikes down into the 1.5 here, so 150 in there, and then moves up from that point. Because if number 2 here becomes the retested resistance, then it will move down to the number 5 here, will be pulled down to that point there. So let's just have a closer look at this here on the 15-minute chart. if you've been long anywhere in over here, and we looked at having the stop way down here because we had to have the stop lower than the 61.8%. So we can move it to this low, but we can move it a little bit higher because the 61.8% is there in this case. Okay, and you may even be long going through all of this here as well. So just coming back to this here a little bit, we don't need this. This is just clean it up a little bit. So the other thing that I wanted to mention here, from wave 4 here, you can see we've got 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here. Then we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, creating a top here. So once we've got that top there, that's in place, we can go long from that point there. Now, we are looking for an ABC correction here, so I can move that up there. I'll just move that back here somewhat. It'll be something like that. It'll be like that because of that and that. But it may be a little bit higher, who knows. But look, all I'm saying is that it may be short here. So there's 100, so I'll just put in 1.5 here, close enough. So when it comes down to, get that working right. So when it comes down to, if it comes down to 1.5, then normally what I find, it will just bounce back up into this space here and start building back up into there, and then you go along from there. But if it retests back up to here and then comes down again through here and takes out that low at 1.5, then that becomes the retested resistance, and then you'll see the market pull back down into this space here. Okay, so it's kind of good to really understand this, this situation here. It's very subtle, but it just gives you a deeper understanding of working with the volume, really, because that's all it is. When we're working with the level here, it's just how people buy and sell around whole numbers, really. It gets more refined than that, but one step at a time as you walk forward and walk deeper into understanding that side of it. In a nutshell, if we don't have a deep correction here, then we need to look for the correction coming down to 1.5 or even 2 here, and then moving up from that point. So you'll need to look at ways to go long at that point, and you don't have to shovel it all in at one time. And even if you trade very, very small contracts because you're learning, you might just normally trade one. Well, then it's kind of better to sort of get up to sort of 3 contracts at least, even if they're, I don't know, the little mini ones or something, because it just gives you a bit more flexibility. If you've got 3 contracts in the market, well, then you can take part profit somewhere. But shoveling it all in at once is well, it can be a bit stressful, so we don't need these here. I don't think we need to go to the tick chart here in this instance, but as you can see here, this is the top of group 1. If we get support on that, then we're moving through. If it pulls back down through here and then starts building back up, you want to be building on these levels here, like 1 here, 2 here, and 3 here in the same way. So you're looking for we're looking for a classic trading levels pattern here on top of group 1 here, but that would be the same on 100, 200, and 300 here. So this is the time to build in here, because if we're correct, then this will be wave 1 and wave 2 here, then we'll move quite swiftly into a third wave going up into this space here. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And moving over to China first. So with China here, I was just assuming that we're going to get 5 waves up into that point, and then we're going to come back to this little box here, which we have, and then we should push up again from that point. Now, this can all be an A, B, C, and be corrective from this point here, right? So we need to be a little bit mindful, and what we're going to do is just simply going to wait for a classic trading levels pattern to occur on the 13,000 there. So yeah, we've still got, we'll drill down into this into the intraday stuff when we get close to this here, because what this will do here, it will confirm that this is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. And if that's the case, then we're going to be making new highs above here. So if that's going to occur, that means that the US is going to occur, and the count, my original count on the US S&P will be correct as well, the big expanded flat that we've got. But look, I just use this here for helping with Hong Kong, but support on 13,000, then that puts us into bullish mode. So it's simple, it's effective, and it's the evidence. So that's what we're looking for there. So any move in Hong Kong at the moment would be under risk until we get that support. So with Hong Kong here, I've got a bit of a dodgy count here where I've got the A, the B, and the C wave here for wave 4 and down for wave 5 on this low here. But it's not lower than this one here, so it's a problem. So this could also be counted as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here for wave 4. And it does look like we've got an impulsive wave structure coming down here. It looks a little bit 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 into this. So, under here would be a short trade under here for this. And in fact, you could actually lift this short trade if we just copy that, color that rather, into green here. We could also put this, that's a little impulse wave going up here. So technically we could put that under here. If that's breached, we can go short from there. The move up from here, this is the 61.8%, which comes in at 23,500. So 5 is a really good number to be working with. So I'm thinking that if we get a classic trading levels pattern on here, then we'll just say support. Well, then we can go long from that point there as well. We can go up and go long from that high. So what we're waiting for here is just a little first high above the level here. So we know, we can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coming up here. So we want just that to push up or exaggerate it there. But we want that high. And if we've got that high here, then we can look at this and go on top of this point here. But as it stands at the moment, this 5-wave structure in here can be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave, and it can fail from here. So I need China to get on that 13,000. I need the other equity, other indices around the world to push a little bit higher. This one's always been a little bit of a problem here, but I think we're on the right track of moving higher. But I'm not going to marry any particular side. There's just no point when you can have both of them, so to speak. India. So with India here, yeah, well, I mean, all I can do is count the waves and that's that. So in this count here from the low here, I won't go back over all of that. We know we're at the 5th wave low here. We'd been counting up as a 5-wave structure up here, and we were looking for a pullback into the box. We've got the top end of the box. Will it give us another 5 waves down in terms of like 1 and 2 here and 3, 4 and 5? I doubt it, but possible. So we just need to be a little bit mindful of that. So we need a strategy here as well for this. Just want to check on the 4-hour chart. Okay, nothing, haven't done anything. So I'm just going to go to the 15-minute chart. We were on the hourly chart. So, yeah, look, the problem with this move for me is that I can count 5 waves up to this high here, but then I've got this move here, which takes out this high here. So I'm scratching my head about this particular thing here, Um, and if I do count that as 1 here and 2 here, then I count all of that as 3 here, 4 here, and 5 here. And if that's the case, we've got 5 waves there. That means that we could just go up to this space here and then collapse again from that point. So, I'll have to have a look at the other markets, and I just haven't had time. But normally when I search around, have a look at other stocks and indices and sectors and things, this becomes apparent. It becomes clear what's going on through all of this. But I just haven't had time. If anybody has, then please let me know. And the other thing here, a couple of things here, is that look, if the other markets are going to be pushing higher, then this can push higher as well. That's a little 5 wave structure here. So taking that high out here was the go, still is. And the thing here is that we're sitting on top of group 1 here now. It's not like we are stuck in group 1. The market hasn't been pulled into the mud here. It's actually got back out, stepped up, made a new high. So that's a positive thing. From this high to this low here, that's the 61.8%, which comes in around, well, we can drift over to the closest largest number, which will be the 8,400 here. So we're going to see a dance there, especially why the other markets, when we're looking at Australia, was just finishing off. There's probably a little 5 waves in here, but I think that 5 waves in here will just be 5 waves up here, coming back here somewhat, testing the back of that top here roughly, and then moving up off that there. So if you're not long here now, and there's no reason you should be because I didn't say to do that, but you could do that off your own back if you know group 1. It's just my setup, it's not a big deal. Then once we get that high here on top of 400, then we can go along from that point there again. The stop needs to stay here at this point. Because we've got 5 waves here, that should not be breached at that point. If it's breached at that point, then you can go short because we'll be going down further from that point. So look, it's just a step-by-step process, and it's just probabilities and, working the numbers, working the levels. And yeah, let's see how we drift on this one here. So I'm just looking at the supply situation. There could be a bit of a struggle here because of all of this here. It's basically it's taking on all of this volume through here. And markets have memories, as you know. So, they're just from human beings. Markets are markets are emotional. They're from us. So, that's it. So, alrighty, enough waffling on. Thanks for tuning in. I much appreciate your support. Cheers.